Today, what we want to do is talk about how the circular flow model explains what occurs in a market. And so, what we need to do first is understand that there are really two stakeholders that are extremely important, one of them being firms. So, firms are basically the folks who produce goods and services. Now, remember, um, anyone can really, in a market economy, anyone can decide to build a firm or start a company and own the factors of production, or at least hire the factors of production, which is basically what firms do. They basically hire and use, you know, the factors or the inputs. So basically, they are hiring, right, land, labor, and then of course capital, right? Whereas the households on the other side of this conversation, they're the ones who are going to buy goods and services, and they're going to be the ones who actually own the factors, right? So they're going to rent um, the factors to the firms so that they can produce whatever goods and services they need to produce. So let's take a look and see exactly what is occurring in this market. So if we think about this, and I think this is fairly simple, we take our dollars or whatever currency we're using as a medium of exchange, right? And what we're doing is we're going to a store and think of the product market as basically a store, right? And what we're doing is we're bringing back the finished product, right? The good or service that's being produced, right? And for firms, they're supplying the output. So they've hired the factors of production to basically produce whatever item is being purchased. And then what firms do is firms bring back um, that money in the form of revenue. So what they do is they take those revenues that are coming in from the output that they've sold in those stores, right? And they basically then go to the factor market. And if you think of the factor market, just think of this as sort of the market where, you know, the goods, the factors, the prices of factors are being set, right? So this is where the prices are being set for whatever the factors are. So households who own the factors will supply, land, labor, and capital to the market, right? To the factor market. And firms will then bring that back and produce the output that they'll eventually sell in the product market. And what do firms send back? Well, firms send back wages, right? So folks can so what households bring back are wages, which is obviously being hired for labor. They're getting paid a wage, right? Second, they will get back the rent, right? So if they have land, they may be renting it to the firm, right? And basically, they'll get back interest if they're, you know, providing a loan of some sort of the factors. And then, of course, profits come back in the form of, those wages that are returned to people, right, for their work. And really, this is the simple circular flow model. And I hope you understand how it explains market activity, because really what this describes is that the market is really going to operate in one circle, right? The outside circle, the green circle, represents the flow of dollars, and the inside circle represents the flow of factors and the flow of goods and services, right? So, what you can basically assume here, or what the model kind of describes, is that basically you're never going to have overproduction, because ultimately what is controlling this whole conversation is supply and demand, right? So firms are going to provide the supply, right? Especially if we're talking about, right, the product market. We're never going to see overproduction, right? No overproduction, because firms are supplying the goods that households demand. If we stop demanding them, the firms will stop producing them, right? And down here, right, we're also assuming in the factor market that you're not going to have any leftover resources, that you're basically going to be efficient, right? That you're going to take the land, labor, and capital and you're going to use it to produce whatever goods and services you're looking to produce. And that's the simple circular flow model that explains market activity.